So I bought this B1550 Kubota out of a shed. It had rat damage, been sitting years and not running. The wiring was pretty straightforward and easy. It was easy to connect back and forth. And then I got to where I did not have fuel, so I started on it and then started filming partway through when I realized the injection pump had a locked up plunger. So this little Kubota injection pump, it got parked over an electric issue, but then got that fixed and the rack stuck in it. Sometimes those lock just from sitting lightly, but that should have broken free by now. So if you come down to the plungers, that one's got resistance. So this is the front of the motor. So 1 and 2 both have resistance. 3 just stays. So we know we got to pull this plunger. We've got work to do in there. So we'll pull this. So that's the metering valve. And there's the plunger. There, we can see all that. That's rusty. Definitely was locked up. That piston was locked up in that bore. Was not going to come out just with running it. But it's just brittle, almost like dried up fuel. It's really not rust. It comes right off this chrome. Just say it sat too long and that fuel crystallized. So here's the cap from number 2. You can see it's nice, clean, diesel colored. Here's the one from number 1. It definitely had some moisture at some time. That's why this piston plunger is all rusty, and then of course the sleeve is rusty as well. So we'll go ahead, we'll start cleaning this up with some steel wool, real fine, just real slow, nothing. We just need this to float in there. If you put it backwards, it's pretty smooth till the corrosion. So we'll just start cleaning this up. So I'm going to start putting all this together, putting the ultrasonic cleaner. Theoretically, all these parts are the same, but since they've run together, we're going to keep them matched as a set so they go back. So I got a Ziploc bag for each one, and then I could label them, or I can cut 3 pieces of wire for number 3. Since these injection pumps are real susceptible to moisture, I'm gonna put them in these Ziploc bags and then pour a little solvent in with them. And then close them up. Since we know rust isn't very good for them. And you can see it's already yellowed a little, starting to clean parts off. They're in here, bubbling away. You can already see they're starting to release some dirt and clean up. So we'll give that an hour or so and come back to it. This run for over an hour. Here's bag number 2. Definitely dirtied up the solvent, cleaned up. So we'll go clean it in another batch, show you what it looks like. I just had the pump body in here cleaning. You can see there's some big flakes, but there's nothing small, nothing dirty. So here's cylinder number 2. There's a little bit of color now, but not bad. So we'll clean these, pull them out, and dry them with a rag as we go. This is mainly just to get the fine stuff washed back out. So we'll start the assembly with our piston cylinders. This one's number 3, and this slot will line up with that hole. So the center one's got a dowel pin, the other 2 have holes, and then that slot's lined up. That's lined up. Then these 2 buttons, they will go in. Lock washer. Then the lock plate. It'll touch flat to flat. And we tighten these down. Now those are seated. So then we can put the adapter. So there's a spring. Then there's this plunger. So then we can put these adapters in. So there's a spring that'll go in, this copper washer, and then the check valve with the plunger. And then that's number 2. And they're easier to put in upside down. And we can turn it upright. And do the next one. Then we'll assemble the next one. So spring, copper washer, and then the check valve and piston. And the nozzle bounce just a little. And just put them down finger tight. Then next we'll do the rack. So then it'll have these 3 lines on them, and these will correspond with the gear. One end of this oval slot has a notch that'll line up with them to clock the rack and all 3 injector gears. So the rack will go in. Like that. And then if you can see it, there's the line. So there's our other line. So there you can see it, that's pointed straight at the line. That one looks like it's a tooth off. You can see that one's a tooth off. Those two look like they match. So on to the third one. And we'll cycle it. Make sure forward and back both match. And that, I mean, you can do it with your pinky. That should be how smooth these are. No resistance hardly. So we'll put it back centered. And then we know our holes point toward the back side, so we want our fuel pin to point toward that side. And it'll go down and seat in those oval slots. Just like that. So we'll build our one roller. And then these pucks go in the bottom. And then the side with the wear goes up. So then we'll drop our springs in. We'll put the spring retainer, spring, and the clip. Put that in, a little oil, and then the slot will go to this side toward the nozzle. So then again, we can put the top of the spring holder, put the pin, the fuel notch goes toward this side with the fuel retainer. Spring, the clip, then we'll flip it to this side. We'll push each one down. We'll drop these pins in. Then we'll turn each pin. And start feeding our lock wire. We'll turn our lock wire. Push it in till it clicks in the hole. Now, each one of these should push. They spring back. The rack still moves very smooth. So we can go assemble this on the tractor. After we tighten these down, of course, because I left them finger tight for now. So the pump's all set up. These nuts are loose. We're gonna look for fuel coming out of all three of these lines, and then we'll see about starting it. So the issue I was having was this pin had dropped from under this plate when it shut off. It stroked out and the pin hopped out of the slot. So we'll leave this cover off a second, try it again. The dying occasionally ended up being I had one of two governor springs hooked up, pulled the side cover, hooked the second one up, and all was good again. It's ready to go mow. Thanks for watching. Hope this helps somebody out.